Hey there, nice to see you all again. It is a Sunday, and I am finally able to go back to one of my typical haunts, which wasn't able to go to in recent months because it was closed down due to the very extended winter that we've been getting in New England. It snowed just a few days ago, and it's freaking April, mid-April. There's a really nice lake not too far from where I live, and you can walk all the way over there. There's a whole bridge that goes across, but if you go all the way to the end of the bridge, you can walk all the way around the water itself, and you go through a forest. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's the forest. I wanted to show you a little earlier, but there's a crying baby, so I had to wait for him to get the hell away from me. But I'll do my best to show you everything else. There's the water. Looking really good. You see I got some water pretty much lapping at my feet by some rocks. Really beautiful location. If you walk to the other side of the forest, it's like you're on the other side of the world. You see all the buildings, you see the horizon. It's really cool. So, yeah, this is something a habit I picked up a very long time ago when I was still living with my folks before I moved to my apartment. And I kind of walked off randomly one day, and I found this whole forest. One day I'll take you there if I'm staying at my folks for a weekend or something like that. There's like these really tall trees. It's like freaking Endor. Like you could swear there's going to be like a whole bunch of like teddy bears falling from the trees with bows and arrows or something. But that was a really cool place. But ever since I started doing that, I've really loved submerging myself in nature, weather permitting, of course. And in this sort of place, here, let me spin around for you so you can see the water. I'm sure you're bored of the trees. There we go. In a place like this, got my damn hand out of the camera. It's really nice to just sit around and think, you know? I come on my own. I've never been here with anyone. Well, there's one instance, but I don't want to bring him up. Long story short. But one of the really cool things about going into forest paths like this is how it always changes. Because of the weather, because of natural stuff. Sorry, it's really freaking windy. Every time you go through a forest, it's a new path. Because trees fall down, plants grow, plants die. So whenever you're walking through, there's different avenues to take. There's new ones. There's some that you can't go back to because of the snow or whatever. And I don't know. I think it says something about life. I find that really interesting. One of the very first things I picked up when I was studying philosophy in college is a very simple parable. I'm not sure if it came from the Greeks or if it just came from my professor at the time. But what she said is basically you have a river, right? Kind of similar to what we got going on behind me. And when you look at the river, it's a river. Then you dip your foot in. Then you remove your foot. And then there's rippling, right? And that story tells us it's not the same river anymore because you had an effect on it. You touched it, you know, kind of like butterfly effect, right? By the simple act of touching your foot in the river, you've given it new history. You've given it a new story to tell. You've altered the water so it laps against different rocks and moves around the wildlife, the microorganisms, everything. You make a bigger difference than you think. It's pretty much a lesson that I've been pulling as I've been walking around here. No different from this lake that we have over here. I mean, for a while it was just a lake, and that was it, pretty boring. And then as I was living in town, one day, well, over the course of several months rather, they built a whole bridge. You can kind of see it. There it is, right over there. Right along here, and along here. It's very far in the distance. But, yeah, we made an effect on the lake. And it's ever-changing because we're walking around here. And I think that's interesting. I mean, maybe you could extend the debate and you could be like, oh, what if you build, like, buildings, gas stations, industrial factories and stuff? That's a whole other tangent. But what I'm trying to say is, with just us and nature and the bare necessities, really helps to make the world feel a little smaller. And I think that's a good thing. Because I think we all get so caught up in the big concepts, right? Me especially, being as crazy as I am, like staying up every night thinking about, oh, what am I going to do with my book that I've been working on? I plugged in 5 hours of writing yesterday. Went to the local cafe. I plugged in 5 hours of writing, which is a new record. I'm really proud of that. And part of why I did that is because I knew if I went home and I didn't write enough, I'd be going insane because I'd be thinking of all these new ideas and they wouldn't be down on paper. I can't rest until I have the ideas down. And then there's other things, you know, like got to worry about rent, got to concern myself with work, social life, romantic life, which is non-existent, stuff like that. But when you're in a place like this, it really shuts off some knobs, you know? And then you are able to just think about the world itself and the impact that you have. Like, you have an impact on water, on trees, on grass, but in the grand scheme of the entire planet, you don't change that much. You're not super duper important, you know what I mean? You have an effect in your life as it is, but in terms of the far-reaching world is concerned, it's not a big deal. And there's comfort in that. I think part of life is learning that you're not that special. I know that seems a little rude, but we're just little people in a very big, vast environment. Where we're talking world, universe, multiverse, metaverse. I don't know what else is out there. You don't know what else is out there. But we don't change much. There's comfort to be found in that. But we can make change in the little things that we can't control. The people we know, the work that we do, the creations that we make. And that's enough. You don't need to go bigger than that. You don't need to change the planet. You don't need to alter the course of history. You just do what you know. And I know this lake. Before I leave, I figured I might as well give you a better view without my big frickin' head in the way. Also, my ass was starting to hurt on that rock, so I decided to stand up. But yeah, here's a little alcove over here. See, this wasn't here before. I wasn't able to walk over here in earlier seasons last year, so it was really nice I was able to do that this time. So I will definitely be coming back again, weather permitting. But yeah, you can make out the whole town, which is really cool. You got some more trees over there. I really like that water tower. Like, if I can zoom in. This thing's kind of spiky, almost gothic looking. I don't know what's going on up there, but it looks really awesome. That's all I gotta say. That's my lecture. I'm gonna sit here for a little longer, maybe listen to some music. I'd like to do that as well. And I'm gonna walk all the way back home. And that's the end of the story. So, yeah. See you next time.